Good evening, LTL true crime enthusiasts. We are back here live. It is December 2nd, 2023. I cannot believe they're literally less than 30 days away until 2024. I want to welcome everybody into the live show here on this Saturday night. If you're here live, feel free to chat with the amazing subscribers, members, true crime enthusiasts there on the right-hand side of the screen. And if you're not watching this live and you're watching on replay, make sure to go down there and leave us a comment and leave us a thumbs up. That'll be a huge, I don't know. I just lost my train of thought. But welcome in, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well on this Saturday night. And we have a lot to get through tonight. I have some breaking news here in a minute, but I also just want to address really quick. I just saw a membership upgrade or starting a membership, and I want to point that out here in a second. But I also want to thank all of the new subscribers here that have come over to the channel in the last 24 hours or so. I appreciate the support. We appreciate here in LTL to get this true crime channel to where it needs to be one of the biggest true crime channels on YouTube. That is my dream, and that is my drive. Also, I want to thank everybody recently that has been supporting me through Buy Me a Coffee. I really appreciate that. It's an alternative website that gives a little bit more freedom to creators. And you'll see the link there posted up above. If you want to, you can donate through that link directly. And I also have memberships there too. And I'm starting to get some members over there. So I do really appreciate that. So anyway, enough of the business. The business is out of the way. And I want to go up here and just recognize this new member. Robert has become a new member. Of the Rookie Detective. So welcome, Robert. Thank you so much. And I also see a 3-month membership call out. Thank you so much. Healing Time says 3-month member, and use your member chats. Let's pull those up. That's free. That's a benefit for you all to do that, to highlight something here. Start getting used to that and express yourselves here in this chat. Don't be afraid to talk. We have a lot of people that come in and just watch, and I see the same people, and I appreciate that you watch, but I want you all chatting in this chat. Get that chat going. Get some conversations going. That's what LTL is all about, and that's what this chat is about, is to just come here, be free for a couple of hours, hang out, chime in what you think. You may agree, you may disagree. It's okay. That's what we want to do here, and have, a little bit of fun here too. We want to have the discussion. We want to have fun. Yes, we deal with very sensitive subjects, but we try to keep, things real. Oh God, I just said that. We try to keep things real. We try to keep things up to date, and we stick to the facts here on LTL True Crime. So yeah, use those chats. That is a benefit for all of you, and it highlights it highlights how long you've been supporting. And I love seeing that stuff. And I love seeing the amazing people that have been here for so long. It's just really cool stuff. So excited. Healing Time says, I'm excited to hear about the new case. Thank you for your hard work. Absolutely. I'm just excited that you're here tonight. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes. MJ Monroe, I want to point her out as well. She has become the first official, actually, wait, she might be the second official membership because I think Carrie already had you beat, but she is a second supporting member over on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jessica using her chat today, 6-month member. Thank you so much for being a supporter for 6 months. She said, Merry Christmas, LTL. Well, Merry Christmas to you and Merry Christmas to everybody out there. No, I saw it, MJ. I saw you. I saw you. No need to send. And she said, I received an email for the first time from him today reminding me of the show. Yes, this was the purpose of using Buy Me a Coffee. So if you support, you get on my email list. If you only want to just send one support, that's fine. You don't have to keep donating. But the thing is you get on the email list, and I love it because we're building that email list, and I can email you and let you know that I am streaming tonight, because everybody says, I never know about your streams. I never hear about your streams. I never get the notifications. Now, if you make a donation through Buy Me a Coffee, I can stay in touch with you. And that's why I wanted to use this service. And that's why I think it's such a badass service. So thank you so much. Lalo has become a new member, a rookie detective. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate that so much. So my friends, let's get on here with the heart of the show here. I have an update. You will get a star. See, okay, so here's the thing. There's different memberships. There's memberships here on YouTube that would gain you like a star in the chat, but there's also memberships over on Buy Me a Coffee. Unfortunately, they're two separate entities, and I won't be able to combine the two, but I also have a low tier support over here, a support membership level at $1.99. So if you want to get in there, that allows you to get into our members only live chats as well, but you can continue to support on Buy Me a Coffee as well too. So I do appreciate it. But let's get into the heart of the show. I do have an update here. An update 2 hours ago, suspect in custody in the killing of 3 homeless men in Los Angeles. But we are going to make sure, and we're going to go back and what led us up to this point this evening. But I'm so glad that the suspect is in custody, and we're going to read through a little bit of this article, and then we'll go back. There's a couple of pressers that I want to play. There's an updated presser that came out today, so we will talk about that. And there was also some reporting on News Nation, and we will go through that as well too, and find out how we got here to this point. But it is good. They do have a suspect in custody. Suspect was already in custody after being arrested Thursday in connection with the killing of a Los Angeles County employee this week. So Los Angeles police announced today, about 2 hours ago, that a suspect had been identified in connection with the killing of 3 homeless men this week. Hang on one second. I have to do a little housekeeping here. Okay, the suspect, Jared Joseph Powell, 33, was arrested in custody after have been arrested in the killing of a county employee earlier in the week. Powell was arrested Thursday and accused of shooting and killing a San Dimas, California father of 2 during a fall home robbery Tuesday. Police Chief Michael Moore said Saturday that police were able to match Powell's car, seen in the security video from the killing Tuesday, to the car that had been identified, driven by the suspect believed responsible for the killing of 3 homeless people. A handgun found in the car also matched the weapon used in the killings of the 3 homeless people, police said. Moore said the case has a striking set of circumstances that is puzzling. Powell was arrested early Thursday in Beverly Hills on charges of murder and robbery after detectives and Beverly Hills police identified the vehicle used in the killings Tuesday. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna said The Beverly Hills police were then able to arrest the suspect at a traffic stop after they matched his license plate to that of the car used in the killings on Tuesday. The next objective is to put this guy away for a minimum of forever because he doesn't deserve to be out on the streets, Luna said. The police had been searching for the gunman responsible for the killings of 3 sleeping homeless people in LA this week before connection to Powell to the crimes. Police had believed that the same person was responsible for all 3 deaths. The 3 separate attacks took place in early hours of Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, Moore said Friday. All 3 victims are men. They were all asleep in open areas on alleys or sidewalks when they were shot and killed, Moore said. One of the men was killed brutally and ruthlessly while he slept on a couch, Moore said, and another was killed as he was leaning against a wall in a manner he described as chilling. The third was a fatality shot as he slept on a sidewalk, police said. A motive was not established. All 3 killings happened in different places in 2 large areas of Los Angeles and are not frequented by large numbers of homeless people, Moore said. Mayor Karen Bass cautioned Friday that there are no homeless person should sleep alone and that the city would open up emergency shelters to house homeless people for the time being. And Lucky Phil, I did see your membership. We'll pull that up in a second. I appreciate that. And I also see a donation that came through Buy Me a Coffee. I'll recognize that as well. Let me just get through this article here. So Los Angeles District County Attorney George Gasson said an emergency shelter would be available for the homeless people on Saturday night. Bass said at the news conference Friday, our message is to unhouse community is clear. Do not sleep alone tonight. Seek shelter services and stay together. Powell was jailed Thursday in the death of Nicholas Cimbolin, 42, who was found dead in his garage in San Dimas on Tuesday night. San Dimas. That's what's the movie? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Weren't they from San Dimas? San Dimas High School, right? Luna said Thursday that it appeared the shooter followed Cimbolin 12 miles from an electric vehicle charging station to his home. He robbed Cimbolin of some personal belongings before he shot and fled, Luna said. Cimbolin was a county employee for 7 years. He worked as a business systems analyst for Superior Court, and in 2019 joined the IT staff as a chief executive officer as principal systems analyst, officials said. He was a prolific developer who had recently completed an innovation IT system to process our county's budget process, Karen Barger, a member of the county board supervisor, said in a statement read in the news conference Thursday announcing Powell's arrest. His coworkers described him as a kind and gentle, hardworking person. Wow, this is a completely tragic story. Guy that seemed like he was going on to do like really, really big things. It's terrible. Officials did not announce any charge for Powell on Saturday. Police asked anyone with information about the suspect, including other crimes he may have committed, to come forward. He was described as a convicted felon who had violence in his background. We want to make sure that anybody who may have been a victim of an individual to come forward and notify your own police department, Luna said. So we do have a suspect in custody. Again, Jared Joseph Powell, 33, arrested in this killing spree of 3 homeless men and a county employee. Wow. Very quick work, though. I mean, I have to give Los Angeles County excellent work, excellent police work. Really, really excellent police work to get this guy completely off the stream. Very, very cool stuff. Off the streets. But we'll go back. We'll look back and we'll see what led us all the way up here and how we got here. Just give me 2 seconds. I just want to crack this window because it's awful warm in my room right now. Hang on. So real quick, our air conditioner at my work broke, and I literally worked an 82-degree building all day today from 9 to 6. And I have to work tomorrow, and it's probably not going to be until Monday or Tuesday that they get out and actually look at the system. So let me go back up here. I want to recognize this. Lucky Phil has become a member of the channel. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you so much. I do really, 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 really appreciate that. Lady Law sends in a a 99-cent super sticker. Thank you so much, Lady Law. And thank you for being a moderator and a supporter of LTL True Crime. I appreciate it. Yeah, they did show his car. We're going to get back to that. And I also want to recognize I have a new member over that is supporting on the Buy Me a Coffee app. I just want to go over there and find out who that is and recognize that person because I do appreciate it. And let's see, let's see, Lee, thank you so much for becoming a member. And if anybody wants to support me here on Buy Me a Coffee, you can. This is the link here. And again, if you do even just one donation on Buy Me a Coffee, you will be added to my email list and I can email you and let you know when I'm streaming. I constantly send those out. And it's been nice for, it's been nice. Yeah, I don't know, Phil, maybe you cut it off or you didn't re-up when it asked you to. I know sometimes that can happen, but you're back. You're back again, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so let's do this. We will go back to the first reporting of this, and we will find out what got us to this specific point. So from Fox News, and this was on December 1st, so yesterday at 5 p.m., Eastern Standard Time, Los Angeles manhunt underway. Let me just get this. I want to enlarge this. Actually, we're there. Los Angeles manhunt underway for serial killer suspected in string of deaths. Unidentified shooter suspect of killing at least 3 homeless people in Los Angeles. Authorities warn. Los Angeles authorities, who have been struggling to deal with homelessness crisis in the city for years, urge unhoused individuals to come in on Friday, saying that a serial killer is to believe on the loose, targeting people sleeping alone outdoors. 3 shooting murders happened in the early hours of Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday, according to authorities. One was killed on a couch in an alley. Another was gunned down while sleeping on a sidewalk. And a third victim was pushing a shopping cart, stopped near an exterior power outlet, and was shot and killed. Wow. In all 3 cases, a lone suspect walked up, opened fire, and walked away. He said, however, police also released a surveillance image of potential suspect vehicles. I want to recognize this really quick. MJ Monroe, thank you so much for becoming a rookie detective. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support here on YouTube and over at Buy Me a Coffee. That'll get you all access to all my members only streams. It's only $1.99. That's less, way less than a Starbucks coffee. And you're missing out on those member streams if you're not a member. I urge you to become a member. We do a lot of cool stuff behind the scenes, and that's a special, it's a special live stream for members only, members only. Okay, so this was the still cam or video cam cut of the suspect. Obviously saw that in my thumbnail. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought again. I'm getting really bad. I'm getting old is what it is, and I forget what I'm saying half the time because my brain goes way too fast sometimes. Way too fast. Way too fast. So Jared Joseph Powell, that is the suspect there, and they did have his car. It looks like potentially looks like a BMW. That's probably a BMW. So let's see here. The city's police chief Michael Moore described the suspect as a lone individual believed to be male, wearing a hoodie and other simple clothing. There had been no eyewitnesses. He said that it was still early in the investigation, but detectives believe the same person committed all 3 murders. Okay, so that's where we were on Saturday. The announcement came out. Today, we had the arrest of Jared Joseph Powell. And then what I want to do now is go back and look at the first initial press conference from LAPD. We're going to hear from Michael Moore, and we're also going to hear from the mayor, Karen Bass. So let's do that. Let's listen to This was this was yesterday. This was yesterday. Here we go. We'll listen to this presser. And then we do have a new presser that they actually did update on this case this evening.
Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name is Captain Kelly Muniz, the Commanding Officer of Media Relations Division for the Los Angeles Police Department. Today, we bring you together to discuss a crime trend.
Lee, thank you so much for the dono on Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That we have. To begin, I will have Chief Michael Moore, the Chief of the Los Angeles Police Department. Speaking next will be Mayor Karen Bass. And next will be our District Attorney, George Gascon. And lastly, we will have the U.S. Department of Justice Attorney, Martin Espinoza. We will have Spanish available in between those, and then we will go to questions.
Martin Estrada.
Martin Estrada. All right.
Our apologies, sir. So good afternoon, everyone. We're here today to ask for the public's assistance in identifying an individual that we believe is responsible for a series of 3 homicides involving 3 individuals who are experiencing homelessness. And as we know, our homeless individuals are some of our most vulnerable populations. I'm grateful to have with me today Mayor Karen Bass, District Attorney George Gascon, U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada, and Police Commissioner President Earl Suthers.
Yeah, so if you're just getting in, if everybody's just getting in, there has been an arrest. There has been an arrest today. It has been announced. Actually, it was yesterday. Thursday, I'm sorry. This suspect that was already in custody for another killing earlier this week. But they did announce today, Jared Joseph Powell, 33, arrested in connection with the 3 killings and one of a city worker. So if you just missed that, but we're just going back. We're looking back and we're seeing what got us to this point. And then we will look at the current presser that was just released a couple of hours ago to get everybody caught up. And it's great. LAPD acted swiftly and got this suspect in custody.
In description of this, homicide detectives from Central and South Bureau, beginning on Sunday, investigated a series of 3 homicides. And we're through their investigation, beginning on Sunday with the most recent and the latest homicide occurring on the 29th on Wednesday.
Scary.
Identified similarities in each of those cases that they believe has identified a series. The first murder occurred on Sunday, the 26th, at approximately 3 a.m. in the southeast area in an alley in the rear of 836 West 110th Street. The victim has been identified as Jose Polanos, a male Hispanic, 37 years of age. The second homicide occurred in Central Division on Monday, the 27th of November, at approximately 4:55 a.m. There, in the 800 block of East 7th Street, along a rear wall at that location, a victim identified as Mark Diggs, male black, 62 years of age, was murdered. The third homicide occurred at Hollenbeck Division on Wednesday, the 29th of November, at approximately 2:30 in the morning, near the intersection of South Avenue 18 and Pasadena Avenue. The victim there, a male Hispanic, 52 years of age, and while we have identified this individual, we are withholding his name pending notification of the next of kin. The commonalities amongst these homicides are that each of the victims were in an open area, whether it be a sidewalk or an alley. They were alone. And from other information that we've gathered to this point, we believe a single individual approached each one and shot and killed each one as they slept. The investigators have gathered physical evidence as well as video evidence, images, and we've identified this possible male lone individual as well as a vehicle whose both images that we're providing to the media today that have similarities in each of the 3 cases.
Wow.
The Los Angeles Police Department, beginning yesterday upon us learning about the similarities and the conclusion that these 3 homicides are related.
Yeah, and it's like now we have to look at and go, what is the motive in all this? You know, what is the motive? Is this just someone that is upset because of the homeless crisis in California? Is that what set this person off? You have to look at that. What? And it's just so stupid. It's such a stupid thing. Not that killing is good anyway, but I'm just saying it's such a stupid thing. These poor victims lost their life to such a stupid thing. And now you have to sit here and say, well, what is the motive? What was the motive? Will we know? Will we find out? It's terrible. So let's see. Wheel says LTL, True Crime Podcast. I've been involved with another channel that has covered Rachel Morin's unaliving, and there is a video of a killer from home invasion earlier this year in LA. Yes, we do know that. Still an open and active investigation. It's crazy. It is crazy. All right, let's keep playing this.
And the same individual is responsible, has summoned a task force that'll be operated out of Robbery Homicide Division under the command of Captain Scott Williams. We're bringing homicide investigators from throughout the city. We're bringing additional investigators from specialized posts, and we have placed our forensic science division.
I'm going to show
already,
you what the suspect
so
looked
that any forensic evidence that is gathered is also quickly processed and analyzed in an effort to identify the person we believe responsible for these 3 homicides. Additionally, once this was discovered, we began reaching out to our law enforcement partners in the region. This morning, I spoke with Sheriff Luna, Chief of Police for Glendale.
No,
Manny
it's all
Sid,
good, man.
Chief of Police for Pasadena.
Not a problem.
Eugene Harris, Chief of Police for Long Beach, the large cities, Wally Habish, to see if they have had any similarities. To this point, we have no unsolved homicides outside the city of Los Angeles. Yet our work continues in identifying whether there are any other shooting victims of persons who were experiencing homelessness, which are unsolved and may have any similarities to these homicides. At this point, we're asking the public to look at these images, gather the locations where these occurred, and to help us identify the person responsible. Part of our task force operations, which will be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until further notice, includes the establishment of a tip line. And we're asking for anyone with information or potential information for them to contact us on that tip line. Again, that line will be available 24 hours a day. That number is 213-486-6890. Again, that number is 213-486-6890. Additionally, working in concert with Mayor Bass and then under her leadership, our outreach to those experiencing homelessness, information of flyers and insurances of added patrols in the areas of where people are sheltering themselves in these open areas. We've increased those patrols and will continue those patrols in search of any vehicle description or individual, but also in an effort to afford as much of a measure of safety as possible. However, the Los Angeles Police Department, I'm sure you'll hear this from Mayor Bass and others, is asking everyone to encourage persons experiencing homelessness, particularly those that are alone, to seek shelter and seek opportunities to come in from the streets.
I mean, bad enough. I mean, you're out on the streets and then you have to worry about some maniac that's driving around and killing people. It's just another stressor to add to, your situation. It's crazy.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to introduce Mayor of the City of Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass. Mayor?
You know what? I'm going to pull this up. I think it's a very, very valid point. So Wheel says a lot of the homeless has to do with mental health issues, which our nation is not doing enough about. I 1000% agree with that. I'm going to add to that. I think that all this stupid money that we've wasted in the past, 3 years in foreign wars, that money could have been used here to help our homeless, to help our vets, to help people in need, to build communities, to build centers that people can go to, healing, mental health healing centers, or even just shelters for homeless people, to get them into programs, to get them back out into society and help get people off drugs, instead of going out in the streets of San Francisco, where they have places that you can go in and get needles and spoons and all your little stuff, all your little drug kits. Why don't we do this? Instead of doing that, why don't we build counseling centers and detox centers where these people can go in and have some kind of hope and some kind of programs that they can go into and help get them back on their feet in a productive society. And again, you know, you can't help everybody. Understand that there are extreme cases, but if you can at least give someone some hope in these areas, instead of just providing them with drug paraphernalia like they do in San Francisco, it's pretty disgusting. It's almost like they want these people to stay addicted on drugs and living on the streets. You know, there's so many things that we could be doing here. Let's build some rec centers and get people back in the sense of community, instead of just giving drug paraphernalia out to people, passing them pamphlets and saying, yeah, sure, call this number if you need some help. Let's get back on our streets and start talking to people. Let's put some officials out there and walk these neighborhoods and try to get these people some health care and get them off the streets. Help our vets. We don't do enough for our vets. You know, our vets get put out on the street. They don't get enough help for, you know, for their housing situations, their medical situations. You know, we take these billions and billions of dollars and you know, go over and fight all these foreign wars and feed into it. And what is the return result? We get nothing in the end. You know, we get to go over and bring all our equipment over there and all our weapons. And then when we leave it for those countries to use to continue fighting. And then ultimately what they do is they turn all those weapons on us. So are we really making any progress here? But I digress. Excellent point to bring up. Again, this is all my opinion here. You don't have to agree. You don't have to disagree. But I think we do have some major problems in here in the US that we could be addressing. So I digress. Let's move on. Thank you for all being part of the chat here. But we'll keep moving on here.
Chief, I want to thank you and the department for taking this matter so seriously in such an urgent manner and convening all of us. This news is devastating to our city. Living on the streets, we already know is dangerous, and we already know that 4 to 5 people die each day on our streets from a range of causes, and violence is certainly one of them. But I want to be very clear about what we're facing today. This is a killer who is preying on the unhoused. And as always, like we do in the face of an emergency, here we are again, calling Angelenos to come together. The city and the region is mobilizing to find this individual responsible,
they have a poop map.
to arrest them, and
Great,
to hold
right?
them fully accountable to the full extent of the law. Now, our message to the unhoused community is clear. Do not sleep alone tonight. Seek shelter, seek services, stay together, seek support, and we need your help to get the word out. Immediately in the last hour, I've directed our Office of Homelessness and Housing Solutions to activate citywide. We have spoken to the leaders of the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, Housing Authority of Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Housing Department, and we are moving immediately to get the word out to our unhoused neighbors, our housing networks, and to ensure that our centers stay open during this time. I have spoken.
But real quick, I'll elaborate on this since MJ's bringing up. What's the poop map? So the poop map was an app that was built, I believe, by the city of Los Angeles, and you could go onto it and report where human feces was being left on the streets. And if you watched the debate the other night on Ron DeSantis and what's the California governor? I forget his name, because that's how much I care about that guy. Newsom. Ron DeSantis pulled up a picture of the poop map, and it literally, LA is covered with poop. And you can actually find the clip here on YouTube if you want to seek it out. But yeah, they actually have a poop map. It's a poop map app, and you go in and report where there's human shit. and they'll go, I guess, pick it up or whatever. But it was literally covered. It was literally covered. LA County was covered with shit, human shit.
With the leadership of Metro
It's
for
terrible.
our trains and buses, where we know unhoused people are there. We want to ensure
Don't care.
that Metro homeless staff get the word out on the buses and on the trains. As you leave the buses, as you leave the trains at night, do not go alone. We will give out locations where people can go.
Oh, San
We
Francisco.
have been in
Got
touch
it.
with service providers
Thank you.
throughout the city,
I
many
thought it
of
was
whom
LA
work
County.
incredibly closely over the last year to bring thousands of
Thank you.
Angelenos inside to reach their clients. And we will be convening a meeting right after this to discuss
If you
next
haven't
steps.
already, please smash the like button. We got about 92 people in here. My goal tonight, before the stream ends, I'd love to get to 100 likes. Appreciate everybody being here on a Saturday night. Again, we're just going through the timeline here. But today, police in LA have announced Jared Joseph Powell, 33, has been arrested in the connection of these killings. We're essentially going back, looking at the history and what got us to present date. All right, let's keep playing on here.
Steps. We will work with our partners on the city council and the board of supervisors, and we're adding
crazy.
staff to 211 and vouchers to add assistance at this time. We are working to open emergency shelters that are open during times of difficult weather conditions. We want those shelters open now so we can get as many people who are unhoused in those shelters. We are deploying outreach teams to go out and to look for individuals who are experiencing homelessness. So this is individuals, not encampments, that are being preyed on. But I really want to speak today to Angelenos that are watching, because I know that many Angelenos have friends and family members who are unhoused, and many friends and family members know how to reach their unhoused relatives. We need you to contact them today. We need you to tell them about this danger. We need you to tell them that they should not be alone tonight, that shelters will be open. We need you to tell them that outreach workers will be out and the seriousness of this. As always, as we have done several times over the last few months, I am convinced that together with the leadership of the police department, with our district attorney, we can find this individual and stop this crime. I want to thank LAPD and our law enforcement officers for their vigilance. And to the person responsible, we will find you, we will catch you, and you will be held accountable. I would like to introduce our district attorney, George Gesco.
Thank you, Mayor. And
Oh, he's tall.
I want to thank Mayor Bass for her leadership in this area. I want to thank Chief Moore, who communicated immediately as they became aware of this series of crimes. I want to thank our partners in the U.S. Attorney's Office, Martin Estrada, who's someone that we work with very closely. Since I was notified, we immediately got our Major Crimes Division involved. We have an attorney that has been already assigned to this, supervisor.
Yeah,
We're
it does look like
also
Steve Martin.
having our Bureau of Investigations be mobilized in order to work with the LAPD and other law enforcement partners to make sure that we facilitate the transition from the police investigation to the prosecution. And we have also brought in our Victim Services Division in order to provide services not only to the families of these victims, but just as well additional victims that may be around, witnesses and other folks that may need assistance as well. It is important that we recognize that this is an assault in our entire community. These are some of the most vulnerable people in our community, and they're being singled out, appears to be, because of their status. But we must recognize that an assaulting one of us is an assaulting all of us. And it's important that we all come together to ensure that this individual is arrested quickly.
If you're a member and you haven't used your member chat option, that's a free option to show support in the chat. You can use that tonight. So if you haven't used that member chat, please do. You want to highlight that stuff, bring it forward. That's a free option to you. That's a benefit to you that you all can use. You can do that once a stream here. So it'd be really nice to see those membership chats. We like pulling up the green. We like seeing the green. And then it shows you in those chats how long you've been a supporter too. And we want to highlight that. So just go down there below. You can hit on the, let's see. I don't know what it is for me. You can go to, I don't know, maybe Carrie can help out. It's different for me on my side, but it should say like membership chat, use your free membership chat. Yeah, throw that up there. That's a benefit for you all to use that every stream. Let's start seeing them. Use those benefits. That's what you pay for. And I appreciate it. Throw them up. Let's highlight them. We love seeing the green.
And that he will be vigorously prosecuted. We will be working with the U.S. Attorney to ensure that we bring
Sophia, welcome in.
Force of both the state,
new subscriber,
and the federal government in order to make sure that accountability takes place swiftly, and that we send a very clear message.
Welcome in.
And I want to introduce my partner from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Martin Estrada. Martin.
Thank you and good afternoon. Within the Department of Justice, there's a common saying that we use, which is that no person is above the law. There's another important aspect to that. And that's the second part of the quote, which is no person is beneath the law. It is critical that we as authorities safeguard everyone in our community, including those who are most vulnerable. It is critical that we keep safe
that. Rogue, back
in our district.
Back from being sick. Nice to see you. I know you haven't been feeling well. Nice to see you. 2-month membership. Appreciate you so much. I hope you're feeling better. I know that you haven't felt well, and I hope that you're coming back around. You actually reached out to me on IG the other day, and you said, I'm still here. I've just been really sick. So hopefully you're feeling better. Everybody throw some hearts up there for Rogue. She is a moderator in this chat, a supporter. We appreciate that. Let's give her some healing hearts. I would appreciate that. MJ says, I found it. 1-month member. Thank you so much. Still not 100%, but let's send her some love. Throw some red hearts up in the chat. Let's send Rogue some love over there and get her healed. Nice to see you here. I appreciate it.
Including those who are unhoused. At the Department of Justice, our mission is to protect our community and safeguard civil rights. And we will act aggressively to investigate and prosecute violations which involve violent crime and which involve violations of civil rights.
Thank you so much.
We stand here united.
Love seeing these chats. See, this is cool. This is a benefit to you. This is a benefit that you all get. So it's nice. Lee and Susan Trainer, nice to see you. 6-month member. Thank you for using that. I got it. I love it. Everybody's using them now. Ellie Ann, 5-month member. Hi all. This is great. I love the community. Good stuff tonight. Lucky Phil, 4-month member. Thank you so much for being here and using your highlighter. Yeah, throw those highlighters up. We love seeing them. Cool stuff. Awesome. Good stuff.
Clear message. We will not tolerate violent crime.
Friends, right?
We will not tolerate violence and acts of criminality against our most vulnerable populations. I want to assure you that the full force of the federal government, together with the FBI, ATF, and the Department of Justice, are working with our local and county partners to bring this killer to justice. And we will not rest. We will use all the resources we have to ensure that that takes place. Thank you.
Excuse me. All right, pretty much a lot of the same here. We're going to bounce out of this. That was the first presser that we had. And then we had some reporting on News Nation. So this was last night. We'll pull up some of the News Nation. Let's do this. Where are we at? Okay, let's pull up News Nation. Last night, expert panel, who is the real serial killer stalking the streets. Here we go.
In the meantime, maybe Phil Waters, if you could jump in here with your homicide detective background, how do you catch a guy like this who just stalks in the middle of the night and goes up to the most helpless of victims and puts a gun to their head?
Well, it's definitely a challenge, and good to be back with you, Ashley. I'll tell you something like this. We had something similar to this in Houston at one point. this random killing of homeless
Kellyanne, good to
people
see
that
you.
were
Thank you.
targeted
Thank
in
you for
a same thing like
coming out
this.
tonight. Appreciate it.
One of the main problems you have is that you don't know where the suspect is coming from. So if it's near these large highways, he's coming in from a different area into a target-rich environment. He's doing what he's doing, and then he's departing. Now, obviously, these pictures,
Recognize this. Wheels says, I enjoy the factual reporting and integrity here. I thank you. I appreciate that. There are not, listen, I don't want to get down on the true crime genre, but I understand some of the games that are played on this platform to get clicks and views, and I just cannot be part of that. I can't be part of that. And I've talked a lot about that in the Idaho 4 case, and especially with Chelsea Grimm's case. The Idaho 4 has spun so much, and to this night, to this day, people are still talking about the grub truck video. To this night, Idaho 4 somewhere on this channel on YouTube is being discussed. There is nothing more that you are going to figure out in that case. We need to get it to trial. We need to get justice for everybody involved in that trial. And if Brian Koberger is not the person that did those crimes, then we still have one hell of a killer out there that we need to find, or killers that we need to find. I will continue to do Idaho 4 streams, but only when there is new information. There's no point in going back and looking almost a year and almost close to just over a year and a month. I don't want to do it. I've done it. We don't need to go there again, but I digress on that. But I knew that when I did this channel and I started this channel, I wanted to stick to the facts. I wanted to stick to what legal documents say. In these cases I follow and I talk about and I report on. I wanted to do that because I would not want someone out there talking like some of these channels talk about families and victims. It's not right. I've been through it myself. My best friend was murdered. I wouldn't want people to talk about him in that way. I've been through suicide with my brother. I wouldn't want my brother's name smeared out there. You have to, and that's the thing. That's the problem with YouTube. I think with a lot of these creators is that they get on, they have a screen and a camera between them, and they can say whatever they want because they want that dopamine hit and they want people to come and watch and click and view, but it's not right. And then when they turn that camera off, they don't have to deal with the repercussions, but only in comments. And what can you do with a comment? You can look at it and delete it. You never have to face that victim's family. You never have to face that victim's community. You never have to face, where these crimes happened. So you can do whatever you want to say. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about, and there's hardly any repercussions from it. I can't be like that. I have to feel good with what I say when I lay my head down on my pillow at night. And when I fuck up, I let everybody know I fucked up. I said the wrong thing. So, anyway, great point. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And there's a lot of crap out there. Believe me, I see it. I watch it. Not regularly, but I hear about a lot of the stuff that goes on out there. And it's not me. It's not what I want to do here. And I don't know if this is going to stay a true crime platform as it grows. Maybe this morphs into something else. Maybe the audience guides me in a different direction. But right now, this is where we are. This is where we are. And this is what we're talking about. So if I can help in any way and keep the streams again, factual and with integrity, it's what I want to do. And when I deviate from that, or if I ever deviate from that, I will let the audience guide me. And if I feel like there's nothing that I can give anymore to help this community, I will shut it down and walk away. So that's where we're at. Thank you. I appreciate those kind words.
Images are coming off of CCTV footage. So I would think that the detectives are.
And believe me, I get a lot of shit. I get a lot of shit for reporting the facts. I have people that attack me on a daily basis. It's almost laughable because you know why? When you put legal documents out, black and white, this is what it is. This is the investigation. Here's the body cam footage. This is what it is. The problem when you do that, it crushes their little narrative, the little groups that they're in. It crushes the theories. It crushes the conspiracy, and they get very angry at you. But I don't care because I do this for the victims. I do it for the family, and I do it for those communities. And if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you because I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it.
Attempting to track that vehicle through CCTV footage. And that may get them closer to where the car is going, where it's coming from, may give them visibility of a license plate and so forth and so on. I am a little struck by the kind of the vagueness of these photos. I'm sure they have others that are maybe better quality, but this is what they're releasing at this point in time. So the challenge is they're going to have to blanket areas with their patrol officers.
That's okay.
These
I'm
are happening
all right.
in the middle of the night, like you said. So there's limited traffic out there, and this car's fairly distinct in its
one a
appearance.
night, right? I mean, we're
It's
Friday,
definitely
but
a
it's
BMW.
been like one almost every night, and then there's been this sort of break Wednesday. Who knows if there's one right now that we don't know of? The body hasn't been found. Someone might just think it's someone sleeping. That's a good point. I want to bring in Dr. Bricado for that. You know, they've talked about it being a serial killer in LA, Dr. Bricado, but you wrote the book literally on spree killing. And we have seen this before. People who've gone after homeless people and killed them one after the other. Is this a spree or is this a serial killer?
Oh, look how close they were.
This is a spree killer because of the lack of cooling off period between the offenses. And by definition, this is somebody moving rapidly and randomly all over the place, expressing rage or some other emotion towards a group toward whom there is hostility. And I'll tell you, I was one of the two creators and of the Columbia Mass Murder Database during my time at Columbia Medical Center. That's the largest study that was ever done of spree and mass murderers across 119 years of research, 119 years of cases. And I can.
So if you're just coming into the chat, I'll let everybody know there was an arrest today. What we're doing right now is we're going back and looking what got us to this point. The arrest of Jared Joseph Powell, 33, was arrested on Thursday. So he actually had been in custody of killing a city county worker, and they connected him to these 3 other crimes. So he has been arrested. We're just going back and looking at the last couple of days here of what got us to this actual arrest and point. So we're looking back, and then what we're going to do is we're going to play the updated presser from today, and then that will conclude. And thank God that this person is off the streets. Okay, let's keep playing through.
I can tell you that the vast majority of spree killers are going to be people that have experienced some emotional event that infuriates them or leaves them feeling hopeless or small or pathetic. And then they go out and target individuals to feel that they've leveled the playing field.
Yeah.
And so what I think we're going to
we're still waiting for some documents and some paperwork. It's in processing. I'm not saying that it's specific to Idaho. So I'll just say that. I'm not going to give any more, but I will let you all know when all that comes through. Again, we're waiting. Carrie and I feverishly talk about it every day behind the scenes. It's in processing. It's just a timing thing right now. I can say this for anybody that has been following any of my Chelsea Grim streams. We have 2 supplement reports on their way as we speak. I'm hoping that I get them on Monday or Tuesday, and then obviously I'll be reporting about that. So all good stuff. And we have other stuff that's in processing. It just takes time with these Freedom of Information Acts. Sometimes it happens overnight and it comes together very quick. And sometimes it just takes a while because they may have to redact information. So we're waiting. Carrie updates me almost every morning and says, I haven't heard from this, but I heard from this, and this is where we're at. She's doing phenomenal work behind the scenes. And thank her, everybody here in this chat. Thank her for reaching out to me and saying, hey, I want to help you. Is there something that I can do? And her and I have been talking, and she's been kind of my legal secretary, helping me out. So she's been the one that's been applying, getting these. I mean, she got the Chelsea Grim case for me. I just said, can you work on it? What can you do? She is the one that's been picking up the phone and building those relationships with the clerks in these offices. And she does it on a daily basis and bugs them every day, but has been building an amazing relationship with all of them. We're also trying to obtain footage, body cam footage out of LA. She just did a request for that for Anthony Farah. So things are coming together. It's been a learning process. When we chase down a department and it doesn't work, then we try it on a different angle. And she's learning a lot of that legal process right now and been doing a phenomenal job. So if y'all don't know, Gary's like kind of my assistant and been helping me out behind the scenes. And, you know, I do appreciate it a lot. I really do. She's really helped me elevate the channel, and she believes in me and believes in the thought process in what I do here on LTL. And that's why she asked and said, hey, can I help? And I said, sure. And, you know, we've built a really great friendship. I mean, we talk daily, through chat, and then maybe once a week on the phone. So she's been doing a great job, and I appreciate it. And she's a huge supporter of me and this platform. And you have to give it to her. You know, she really has been helping out a lot lately. And it's nice to have an assistant to help, because I work full time and it's hard for me to, you know, creatively think what I should be doing, but it takes the burden off of the legal paperwork for me. And she's been doing that. And then the minute something comes through, she just says, send it to this address, and it comes to me. And then, you know, we go from there. So, anyway, that's kind of what goes on behind the scenes in LTL. All right, let's keep playing here.
Find out is that there was some sort of impetus event like that. The question is, why homeless people? And what I can tell you from the research is we're likely going to determine that either there is a specific grudge for some of the reasons that you mentioned earlier, perhaps political, perhaps some other thing related to irritation, that there's a rise in homeless people, but it may also be something symbolic, like being angry at people who one feels are small, annoying, pathetic, etc., because of identification with them. If a person feels that way, they're going to be irritated towards people, level the playing field by eliminating them.
I really hope it's not political in nature, because, you know, there has been so much political rhetoric about homelessness, especially in California. And in fact, Mark Garagos, jump in here if you would for me, because part of it, I don't even want to get to the politics of it, but there are politics when it comes to allotting resources to fan out and warn these people. These people on the sidewalk don't see cable news. They don't hear the radio. They probably don't even have a phone, many of them. What's the outreach going to look like? Like, how are the LAPD going to get out to the tens of thousands of homeless people out on the street to warn them that this Night Stalker is out there?
Well, it's funny you mentioned the term Night Stalker, because when there was the so-called Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, in Los Angeles, that spread like wildfire. It became kind of a phenomenon that gripped LA. One of the reasons for that is because Richard Ramirez was doing home invasions. It could have there, but for the grace of God walked you, so to speak. So people were panicked because he was going into houses.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
All right, News Nation. All right, let's go here. A little bit more from News Nation. Last night, they had a full panel of experts. Let's hear.
News Nation's affiliate, KTLA. Phil Waters is a retired homicide detective with the Houston Police Department. He has investigated more than 400 homicides. He knows his job. And then Dr. Gary Brucato is a clinical psychologist and the author of the book, The New Evil, Understanding the Emergence of Modern Violent crime. And Mark Garagos is a criminal defense attorney and co-host of the Reasonable Doubt podcast with Adam Carolla, also an LA resident. He knows those streets. He knows those people. John Fenolio, I want to start with you live on the ground if I can. Do police have any more leads since we last got that update?
Ashley, good evening to you. I can tell you that the latest murder that occurred actually happened on Wednesday right here on West Avenue 18 in LA's Lincoln Heights neighborhood. As to your question, no. Police tonight saying they do not have a lot to go on beyond that blurry, shadowy image of a suspect, a guy in a hoodie wearing casual clothing, driving away in what looks like a sports car. What they do say is that all of these victims were targeted, as you mentioned at the top of the show, 3 men over the course of 4 days, sleeping alone at night on city streets and alleyways. What's more, all of these murders happened near major interstates here in Los Angeles. Ashley.
John, what about the community? I mean, LA's a busy place. Not everybody's watching the local news, and this just sort of happened. So how much of a concern is out there? How many people actually don't even know about this threat on the streets?
Well, look, the mayor's office is worried. The police are worried. The FBI, now involved, also worried. They are trying to put this issue on blast and get the word out as quickly as possible. They've also deployed hundreds of volunteers and city workers to go out into the community to warn people not to sleep alone at night and make good use of the city's emergency shelter system. The notion of a possible serial killer at large is something that no community can abide by, and that is what the mayor and the police chief are focusing on tonight, again, warning people not to sleep alone. Ashley.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in about
John,
5
we hear
minutes.
a lot about
5
homelessness on the
minutes. We're gonna show
rise
what he
in
looks
San
like.
Francisco. Maybe not as much national headlines about the homelessness problem.
Again, I wanted to just do, kind of go back to the backstory of how we got here. If you've watched my streams before, when we have breaking news and they may catch a suspect, I like to go back and say, all right, what got us to this point so we get the full context of the story.
In your city, is it at crisis level, and is there a lot of anger? I'm just trying to figure out a motive. Maybe this killer has a screw loose about the politics of it all.
Well, look, it's a good question. I mean, there's no doubt that there's a collective frustration about homelessness here in Los Angeles and in California as a whole. But the notion that a serial killer or anyone would be driven to shoot and kill somebody sleeping, an innocent person, is just beyond the pale. But that said, California, it's estimated, has 30% of the nation's homelessness. Of course, LA, being the nation's second largest city, has many of those folks living right here. There is a sense of frustration, sometimes hopelessness. Mayor Karen Bass campaigned on getting people off the street, but bottom line, the rate of people getting off the street has not kept up with the pace at which people are losing their homes. So yeah, there's a real sense of frustration here. But again, a killer on the loose, something that the city cannot abide. Ashley.
One thing I just don't get, John, is what the LAP did in that news conference. They gave this picture of the car, and it's just sort of a blurry speed-through shot, and then this hazy picture of a guy in a hoodie, and that's it. But I would think they got to have more than that. I mean, is the press frustrated with how little they've been handing out to try to catch this guy?
Yeah, tell me about it. We've been talking about it in our newsroom. We're wondering, why would they put out such little information, such blurry images? But it speaks to the idea that perhaps that's all they've got right now. If they had more, and they're putting this issue on blast, certainly they would release better photos and more information. We just don't have all that info right now. And of course, we're trying to get it.
Thank you for watching. You're
going to have to rewind to get the full context of the story. You'll have to rewind and watch the whole thing over again. All right, let's get to the most updated presser again. If you're just getting in here, there was an arrest on Thursday in connection with this crime. Jared Joseph Powell, 33, has been arrested in connection with these killings. It was announced just a few hours ago by the LAPD, obviously in LA County. We're going to go out to the Twitter, and get the most updated presser, and we will get a photo. This is what this man looks like, and we'll pull that up right here. And it was a BMW, like I suspected. Joseph Jared Joseph Powell. Jared Joseph Powell. Okay, we'll go out here and watch the most recent updated presser.
Notice we've called this media conference to update Angelenos in the status of the investigation into the senseless series of 3 murders that we announced just 24 hours ago in regards to the one that occurred in Southeast, the central part of the city, as well as in Hollenbeck. Thank you, Mayor Bass, for your attendance here today. More importantly, thank you for mobilizing the city and county resources in both its outreach workers as well as the emergency shelters that you activated upon learning of our belief of an existence of an individual who over a few short days murdered 3 men without provocation as they slept alone, unhoused here in our city. I'm also joined today, as I was yesterday, by our U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada and District Attorney George Gascon. Gentlemen, thank you for being here, as well as Sheriff Robert Luna and Beverly Hills Chief of Police Mark Steinberg. As you know, upon learning of the connection of these 3 homicides, we immediately assembled a task force of dedicated, highly experienced detectives and investigators, as well as our forensic services and other resources in the mission to identify and arrest the individual we believed responsible for these heinous crimes. This afternoon, it is with tremendous pride that I announce their collective work in concert.
Look how excited he was. That's awesome. You can tell this chief is very
responsible for these heinous crimes. This afternoon, it is with tremendous pride that I announce their collective work in concert with the work of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, Beverly Hills Police Department, has resulted in the identification and the arrest of the individual we believe is responsible for these vicious crimes. Tragically, that same individual is also believed responsible for the murder that occurred during a follow-home robbery in San Dimas, making this suspect responsible, we believe, based on our investigation, for the murder of 4 individuals over the course of 4 days. I am very proud of the Los Angeles Police Department, its extraordinary investigators and forensic services, who under the leadership of Chief of Detectives Chris Pitcher, Commander Jay Masick, and Robbery Homicide Division Captain Scott Williams, set forth an all-hands effort to identify and apprehend the person responsible for these murders. I'm also welcome here today Assistant Director Don Elway from the FBI, as well as what he represents was the federal's assets that were also brought in to assist us in this case. I'm also proud that in a time of crisis, one of our most vulnerable populations were being victimized, that under the leadership of Mayor Bass, the city and county of Los Angeles came together with our city service providers and nonprofits from throughout the region to protect and serve our most vulnerable population. I'm also grateful for the continued support of our federal partners, as I mentioned, as well as the district attorney, who quickly dedicated critical resources that will remain with this investigation and the forthcoming prosecution of this serial murder case. All of this work is evidence of what we stated yesterday, that our entire law enforcement enterprise would be committed to this investigation, while our service providers and hundreds of outreach workers mobilized to alert our most vulnerable population to this terrible danger. The murder of these 3 homicides, the murder suspect of these 3 homicides is in the custody of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department and has been identified as Gerald Joseph Powell, a male black, 33 years of age, and a resident of the city of Los Angeles. As has already been reported, Mr. Powell was identified as being responsible for the senseless killing of Nicholas Samolin, a husband and father of 2 young children, at his home in San Dimas this past Tuesday. The extraordinary work of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department resulted in the quick identification of the vehicle that was used in that follow-home robbery and killing. An alert to law enforcement.
You got to go now and just, talk. Will we get a motive? Will we get a motive? That's the thing. Why? Why? It's very, very senseless. We may never get that. We may never get it.
Enforcement of the vehicle resulted in its discovery by the Beverly Hills Police Department, where a vehicle stop resulted in the arrest of Mr. Powell.
I mean, can you imagine maybe these 3 individuals are out on the street, hadn't talked to their families in years, and then they get a notification that, oh, your brother, your mother, your father is dead. It's just tragic.
And the recovery of the firearm on Wednesday evening. Over the course of our investigation of our murders, we were able to identify the vehicle we believe connected to our 3 homicides as being the same vehicle Mr. Powell used in the murder of Mr. Cibola, and then that it was being held in custody of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department as evidence of their murder. Our detectives worked closely with the sheriff's investigators and our forensic services overnight, and the result of their work has positively identified the handgun recovered from Mr. Powell's car as being the murder weapon of our 3 homicides. Wow. Additionally, our investigation has documented Mr. Powell's vehicle as being at the murder scene of all 3 homicides, and Mr. Powell's physical appearance is consistent with the imagery recovered to this point. We have not yet established a motive of Mr. Powell in these 3 murders. I am grateful that this suspect in this case is in custody and no longer a threat to our community. I recognize that there will be many questions regarding Mr. Powell and other aspects of this terrible ordeal over this last week, and we'll be unable to answer those today as our work continues to interview witnesses and develop additional evidence that will aid in the successful prosecution and conviction of this heinous killer. As I said earlier, Sheriff Luna, Chief Stainbrook will be available to answer questions relative to the arrest of Mr. Powell, as well as the circumstances of the San Dimas follow-home murder. Again, to the members of the media, thank you for.
All right, let me go out here. Let's see. What'd I do? I need to go back. Need to go back. The Twitter. The Twitter. Oh no. I just lost my feed. Hang on here. I just lost my feed. Need to go back to my history. The Twitter. Oh, where was I? Hang on. I got it. There's more to the presser. I just got to find it. Hang on 1 second. Sorry. I lost the feed. Let's go. Okay, here we go. I got more of the presser. Hang on 1 second. Oops. Let me share my screen again. All right. Back to the presser.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to begin by thanking the mayor for her incredible leadership in this area. As Chief Moore indicated, it was bringing the city together that not only created an avenue for people to feel protected, but it provided us with an avenue to make sure that very vulnerable communities in our county and our city were going to have an opportunity to have a safe shelter for the night. I want to thank Chief Moore, who called me immediately as soon as he realized that there appeared to be a series of killings that were perhaps committed at the time by the same person.
Wow.
And my team, who immediately.
I am reading a report right now. Listen to this, and I'm going to play this in a minute. After spending $67 million, only 255 of Los Angeles City's homeless were permanently housed. 67 million spent and only 255 people have been permanently housed. We have a fucking problem. They got a problem. Wow.
Came up and connected with the LAPD in order to make sure that this individual will be held accountable, and the Sheriff Department, all the work that they did with the earlier apprehension in Beverly Hills, and then our partners in the federal government who came in and put all the resources together in order to take us to what we are today. This case is an illustration of when the entire government family comes together, we can get things done, and it is for the betterment of our community. This person that allegedly killed one person every day for 4 days, just think about that for a moment. The day of his fourth killing, he was arrested. The swift actions of law enforcement undoubtedly saved lives this week. Chief Moore quickly developed a task force and connected with law enforcement agencies throughout the region to share the knowledge and the resources. And together we were able to solve the case and put out of our minds this at ease, or put our mind at ease. Without the collaboration and tenacity of the law enforcement agencies that came together, we would have undoubtedly faced even more lives lost and families enduring the unbearable grief. On Monday, once the case is fully presented to our Major Crimes Division, and they will engage in a thorough analysis of the case.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now,
earlier,
I was just watching, and listen, I don't want to make this a stream about the homeless, okay? I don't want to pick on them. I think that there's a multitude of things that can happen, but I was just watching an interview with Jack Osborne, Ozzy Osbourne's son, and it was just about a week ago, and they went out to talk to him about how much California has changed in the last like 8 years. And he said that it's so crazy now that you can come in with a mobile home and drive out to like Rodeo Drive and literally just park it there, and there's nothing they can do because you essentially become like I forget what he said. It's not really like a resident, but they cannot move you by law now. So they literally let you stay there and just live out of this mobile home. And he was showing some of these mobile homes, they go out and they literally, these people buy generators, and there's just generator after generator after generator to make power. And they're these like diesel generators or gas generators. And they're not like nice mobile homes. They're shitty because that's all, unfortunately, these people have. And there's no law to kick them out of that area. They literally can just park there. And that's the problem with all these cities that do this. Same thing in Chicago. They let everybody into the parks. They say there's nothing they can do. They set up their tent. They take over these parks. A lot of people were just doing that out in Rhode Island. They were going to the state house, going there and tenting out on the front lawn, and there was nothing they can do. And finally, they just got sick of it because everybody was complaining so much. They literally went in and had to kick everybody out. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And here we are, spending billions and billions and billions of dollars, giving it essentially to Russia and Ukraine, and now in a proxy war between Palestine and the Gaza Strip. We're helping fund that war too. Billions of dollars that we could be here investing in our own country. I don't know what it is with people when it comes around to the time to vote. I don't know why people vilify our country. Even people that live here vilify our country and literally call us sons of bitches if you stick up for America. There's nothing wrong with using money to help your own infrastructure to better your country. There's nothing wrong with that. Build better infrastructure, better roads, better bridges. We're now going into a society that's going to become an electric society. We're going to get a lot more electric cars. We cannot right now, as a society, to sustain a grid if we literally turned off gasoline engines tomorrow and all went electric. Our power grid would fail dramatically. There's nothing wrong with taking that money and investing it here in America. There's nothing wrong with that. This whole thing about like, we can't be the best. We can. We have the best people here in America that are in this country from all walks of life, people that have come here to help flourish our country, but they did it the legal way, and they're part of our society, and they're paying their taxes. I want everybody to come here. I do. Anybody that can help, but you got to go through the process and do it legally, because it's not fair. It's not fair to the people that have lined up their lives for years to process paperwork and probably spent tens of thousands of dollars to do it the legal way, and you're jumping over those people and you're not giving them the opportunity to be here the right way. the right way. You know, we have immigration's a huge issue in this country. You know, people are passing by the thousands daily across our border. I had streams about it a couple of weeks ago when JLR was down at the border. We saw what was going on there. They're literally, the National Guard is literally cutting fences and allowing people to come through. It's crazy. And you know, I'll digress on that. We'll get back to the case. I didn't want to go that deep, but it's how I feel. There's nothing wrong with investing here. And it was like, you know, it's funny when Trump was president, you know, let's make America great again. Let's invest in our country. Let's invest in our infrastructure. Let's get people working here, get them off the streets. And for some reason, some of these states just don't want to do that. They want to get up and talk a good game, but they actually don't want to do it. And it's crazy to think that way. It really is. All right.
They have been working with the investigators since very early, so we have a very good understanding not only of the case, but the evidence available. This case also will be submitted to our ACE committee for consideration of filing of special circumstances of the multiple murders and the murder in the course of a robbery. As we approach the holiday seasons, let us take a moment to reflect on the fragility of life and the impact a single individual has had on 4 families who will not have an opportunity to celebrate with their loved ones. Thank you so much, and I look forward to any questions that anyone may have. And now, sure.
All right, that's it. So, Jared Joseph Powell, 33, in custody with the connection of these murders. Thankfully, Beverly Hills Police and LAPD worked swiftly to get this maniac off the streets. Amazing work. Great job. I have a little bit, I think I have another video here I wanted to play really quick. This was the sheriff of Beverly Hills that talked what technology they used to apprehend the suspect. We'll pull that up really quick. And then I do want to pull up that quick story that I saw. $67 million spent and only 255 people actually permanently housed. Let's play this video here.
I'm honored to introduce the chief of the Beverly Hills Police Department, Mark Stainbrook. Thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So I just want to reemphasize what's been said about partnerships. I think the regional partnerships between our local, state, and federal partners is outstanding in this county and in this region, and no one can do it by themselves. So it's been huge when crime crosses borders. As you probably know, in Beverly Hills, we have a real-time watch center. We fly a drone every day. We have 50 ALPRs, automated license plate readers, around the city in strategic locations. And we have over 2,400 cameras that are monitored 24 hours a day and kept recorded for over a year. So we're able to provide a lot of information sometimes on different crimes. In this case, on Wednesday night at about 9:15, the suspect vehicle entered our city. ALPR alerted the real-time watch center. And between the great job of our dispatchers and our virtual patrol officers, they were able to direct officers in to where the vehicle was, stop that individual, and take him into custody safely, which I think is very important because he wasn't complying initially with the instructions the officer gave him. So I'm just very proud of my officers and my staff, and thankful for all the great partners we have up here.
That's great. Good work. Great work. Quickly and swiftly. All right, let me see if there's anything else here that I can add. That looks about it in this case. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's play that quick story about the homeless. So it said 67 million. Only 255 Los Angeles City homeless were permanently housed. Where did that fucking money go? We got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. Let's listen to this story. Here we go.
Our other top story at 5, it's a $250 million program to get homeless people off the streets of LA and into temporary motels. But almost a year after it started, the I-Team reveals the program isn't going as planned. Tonight, we turn our attention to the Inside Safe program. Good evening. I'm Annabelle Sedano.
And I'm Colleen Williams. It promised safe temporary housing and services with the goal of helping to move the homeless into more permanent housing. Now, Mayor Bass tells our investigative reporter Joel Grover the project has been a lot harder than she expected. Joel is here live right now with more. Joel.
Well, Colleen, for almost a year, the I-Team has been following homeless people who agreed to leave the streets and go into motels, and that's costing taxpayers a lot of money. But we found very few of them have been moved into permanent housing as they were promised. The mayor admitted to the I-Team her Inside Safe program could be more cost efficient and is not accomplishing its goals fast enough. Just under the 405 freeway at Venice Boulevard, city workers dismantled this encampment, throwing away tents and sweeping up hypodermic needles. That was 5 weeks ago at an encampment where the I-Team...
Was that when the president of China came through? Was that what they had to clean everything up for him when he came through?
has documented deadly shootouts and frequent gunfire. But on this day in late October, caseworkers from a nonprofit hired by the city were offering a new beginning to the unhoused like Gabriel Felix.
And I just want to get back to living life.
He says his life changed when his baby daughter suddenly died 7 years ago, sending him into a depression where he quit his job as a barber and ended up at the Venice 405 encampment.
I felt like I've just been dead for the past 7 years.
Living here on the streets?
Yes.
But Felix and others were full of hope 5 weeks ago when they were shuttled far away to the Full Moon Motel in South LA and were told by caseworkers they'd help them find apartments and get them much needed services. 5 weeks later, I caught up with Gabriel.
You can't just put someone in a room and expect them to just magically, their lives are put back together.
He says he hasn't seen a single caseworker, has been shown no apartments, and hasn't been offered services. And he's afraid to leave his motel room because prostitution, documented by the I-Team, and drug dealing are rampant right outside.
I feel less safe than I did when I was out on the street right now.
And he's not alone. The I-Team has been following unhoused people since they were moved off the streets by the mayor's Inside Safe program almost a year ago and taken to motels like Faith Stevens.
You suffer from depression?
Yeah. Faith was moved to a second-floor room at a South LA motel, even though she had trouble climbing stairs from a car accident. We heard her caseworker last summer promise to move her downstairs within 3 days.
Give me till Friday and it'll be done.
But that didn't happen, and Faith eventually fell down the motel stairs, ending up in the hospital.
Sir, you need to call corporate.
Her caseworker didn't want to talk to us. 7 months in the Inside Safe program, Faith says her caseworkers still haven't found her an apartment or gotten her services as promised.
My whole life has been put on hold from this situation. I can't do anything unless I'm rooted and grounded.
All told, after almost a year, the Inside Safe program has moved only about 4% of LA's homeless inside, about 1,900 people. But it's found permanent housing for only 255 of them.
Are you satisfied with those numbers?
No, I am not satisfied.
Well, then what's your problem?
At all.
What the fuck you doing? You know, what's your fucking problem? You have literally a slew of money at your fingertip. $67 million and you can't get fucking people into housing? What is your problem? You could build a facility.
Bass told the I-Team tackling homelessness
is fucking people. Oh, no, it's, and you know she's gonna deflect here. She's gonna go, oh well, it's not my problem. Yeah, it is. You're the fucking mayor. You're the mayor. It is your problem. And they probably won't play the sound clip when she goes, it ain't my problem.
Is harder than she originally thought.
Harder than she thought. But she's gonna deflect and go, well, we couldn't get the organizations together. I mean, I haven't even watched this yet. I can already hear, oh, well, the resources.
And more expensive. According to her office, Inside Safe has cost taxpayers more than $67 million so far this fiscal year, out of $250 million approved for the program. Those motel rooms for people like Faith and Gabriel cost an average of $3,300 a month per person, more than the cost of a decent apartment. Are taxpayers at this point getting their bang for the buck?
Well, I think long term, we have to come up with a model that's more financially sustainable.
Bass says the city is
You had 67 fucking million at your fingertips. What are you talking about?
considering buying and leasing entire motels instead of renting by the room. Bass also says she's removing barriers to getting homeless people into apartments, like the requirement that they have a government ID to apply for housing.
If you don't have an address, how are you supposed to have a government issued ID?
And what about those caseworkers from nonprofits hired by the city who haven't yet found people like Faith Stevens and Gabriel Felix the permanent housing they promised?
We have worked them well beyond their capacity. They never had to work at this volume before. So they
There it
basically
is.
cannot
Oh, well, we've never been worked like this before.
manage it.
I can understand why people say I give up.
Some of the homeless people we've met now say they're considering going back to the streets, where they felt more in control of their daily lives and at times have even felt safer than in those motels. What do you say to people who've almost lost hope?
I don't want to see somebody leave a motel where they have hygiene, where they have food, where they have the possibility of services, to go to a tent where they might die.
Faith Stevens has now been moved to a new motel in a first-floor room, but she says she's been told no TV news cameras are allowed on the property. We'll stay in touch with Faith to see if she's ever moved into permanent housing and receives the mental health services she says she was promised months ago. Back to you.
You know, I listen, I know this is a very, very touchy subject, but I think what happens in these cycles is that people just wait. And, you know, you as your own person, you are the master of your fate. Okay. At some point in this waiting for this assistance, you're going to have to try, and you're going to have to pull your bootstraps up, try something, get a job, try to maybe apply for some other resources, you know, try to get yourself clean, whatever the issue is, you got to try. But sometimes I think what happens is these people become very reliant on their local governments and their government, and a lot of false promises get made and things don't happen. Clearly, I mean, look at the news report. $67 million at the tips of their hands, their fingertips, and they can only get 255 people off the streets in a permanent residency. That's like that's not a feasible or a good business plan, you know. Casey, member for 6 months, says, 6 months sending love from the UK. Well, I'm sending love back to the UK. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. And again, I didn't want to make it about this evening, but politics can get a little froggy and a little weird. I have my thoughts on it. I'm sure you all have yours. But clearly, the things that are happening in these specific states and cities and communities, it's not working. So only we can be the power of that when you go out and vote, and you are the person that can make those choices. So go out, look at your local constituents, because I always say this. I think people get way too hung up on the president and they don't look in their local communities. You have to do research in your local community. If something's not working for you, or that politician or that constituent in your area is not working for you, I urge you to go out, learn about that person, learn about their policies, learn about the people that you're going to elect and put into power for the next couple of years. Because if it doesn't align with who you are and what you want for your community, you need to vote. That is the most important, because you live there. Local, you live there. Get out and vote in your local elections. So anyway, I digress on all of that stuff. I don't want to get into politics. I have my views. You all have your views. Hopefully we line up. If we don't, it's okay too. But that's how I feel. It's how I feel. But local is very important because that's your community. That's what you live in. Oh, okay. We're going to wrap this up. We're at about an hour and a half. I appreciate it. I'm going to drop the link one more time if you want to buy me a coffee. Also, by the way, I have embarked in a new endeavor. I have a second channel. I'm going to drop that link. It's called LTL Retro Rewind. And what we've been doing over there is some really fun stuff. We can joke and laugh. It's not serious at all. We've been watching like really cheesy 80s and 90s training videos, LP stuff. We've been watching shoplifters get caught. I'm gonna pull up like old training videos and stuff. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. The channel's actually gaining some steam. I think we have let me look right now. I have 548 subscribers. I'm trying to get it to 1,000. So if you haven't subscribed over there yet, let me drop the link. Join me tomorrow night. We're going to do a live over there and go just have fun. It's nice to just we do such serious stuff here, and it's a channel that we can go to and laugh and have some fun and kind of forget about our day, our serious day. If you haven't, go over and watch some of the streams. They're really funny. And the crowd, the chat really participates in them. I try to get them very participated in it. And I think the channel has a lot of potential and it's going to be fun. It's nice to just do something a little bit different than true crime. And we just go in there and hang out and joke around and just pull kind of random videos up and have fun. So we do appreciate it. So let me just do this really quick before the end of the night. I want to go back and start. Robert became a new member. Thank you. Healing Time with the 3 months support. Thank you. Jessica with the 6 month support. Lalo becoming a new member. Thank you. Lucky Phil re-upping the membership. Lady Law with the 99. MJ Monroe here and on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you. Rogue, hope you feel better. 2 month member. Thank you. Excuse me. MJ, thank you again. Lee and Susan for 6 months. Support. 5 month support by Ellie Ann. Thank you. Lucky Phil, 4 months support. Wheels checking in, 1 month support. Thank you. And Casey for the 6 month support all the way over in the UK. I appreciate that. And then if I go over to the Buy Me Coffees, Lee with a $5 donation and then became a member of a crime enthusiast. MJ Monroe has become a detective insider over on the Buy Me a Coffee app. And that's all that came through this evening over there. So I do appreciate it. Again, come over and check out the other channel. I'll be live over there tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's really fun. We hang out. We just laugh the whole time. And it's been really, really good. And I think that's going to wrap up the stream tonight. So a great overall stream. I appreciate everybody popping in on this Saturday night. Get some rest. I'll be back tomorrow live at 8:15 p.m. on LTL Retro Rewind. Again, that is the channel. Go over and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. Come hang out with us over there. We have memberships available. You can super chat, all that fun stuff. And we just go over and hang out and have a good time. It's a lot of fun. And everybody is telling me they love it. They literally email me and say, I can't believe I haven't belly laughed that long. So it's been really, really fun. And it's been a good time. So awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. We should have some news this week in Chelsea Grimm's case. I'll get that updated. And also there's been some new developments in the Karen Reed case that I'm going to be talking about pretty soon. Really, I would say exciting stuff and some really serious stuff that has developed in that case. So look out for a stream this week with that. I appreciate it. And I hope that everybody has an amazing Saturday night. Get some rest. I'll see y'all soon. And I hope that I can see all of you tomorrow night on LTL Retro Rewind. I will see you soon. I'm Brian. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being here tonight. Everybody have a good night. Bye.